Hi everyone, in this video we are going to look at NARS's new Spring 2019 collection. This collection includes two items, the Exposed Cheek Palette and some lip duos. So make sure that you check the description box for where you can purchase these products, a link to eBay so that if you do purchase online you can get some cash back on your order, and for the link to Allura's Instagram so that you can follow there. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Check out the last couple of videos. One is for swatches of Urban Decay's new Naked Reloaded palette, and I compare it to the original Naked palette if you're on the fence about whether you should purchase it or not. I will go with some requests that I've gotten to compare the Naked Reloaded palette to the Anastasia Sultry palette, so stay tuned for that upcoming video. And if you haven't seen the swatch video for Natasha Denona's new Bloom Cheek palette, I will link that in the upper hand corner. Make sure you go check that out also. In this video, I will swatch for you both the cheek palette and the lip products, and I will also do lip swatches in the video and apply maybe a couple of the colors of the cheek palette to let you see how they look on the skin. All right, let's get looking at NARS's new Exposed collection for spring 2019. So let's take a look first at the Exposed Cheek palette. All these items are available for purchase currently through NARS and Ulta, and they should be launching soon at Sephora. The Exposed Cheek palette retails for $59. NARS says that this is a palette containing 6 universally flattering shades, encapsulated in a breakthrough NARS formula that delivers the purest pigments for unrivaled color. The breakthrough formula apparently has a color clarity complex, which is an innovative blend of pure pigments to give you vibrant, buildable color and to accentuate all skin tones. And all 6 of the shades in this palette are new shades. The coverage is supposed to be sheer to buildable and have a wet-dry formula. I'm a little iffy on that part, but as usual, I will swatch these over the skin and over some sort of foundation and base for you, and we'll do multiple swatches or multiple layers of the swatches. This is the palette, and I love this. It has a kind of waved, uneven water-like surface on top here, and underneath these pink and peach spring colors. So hopefully you can see the waved texture on top of there. It opens up with a clasp closure, has a full-sized mirror inside, and the pans carry over that rippled waved surface. So as usual, I will swatch these with a brush the way you would in real life on the cheeks, left to right, going row top to bottom. I will layer them up to show you the different levels of coverage, and then after I will do swatches with my fingers to see what the concentration of pigment is. And unfortunately, you only get the names on the back of the palette. Okay, so the first shade is called Tell All. It says that this shade is a pearlescent golden pink. I don't know that I really see any pink in there. It is beautiful with just one layer. I'm going to add 2 just for the sake of showing you if there's any noticeable difference. I don't really think there is. Beautiful shimmering highlighter. Next is Now or Never, which is a satin finish terracotta shade. Definitely on the sheer side on the first layer, although actually not that sheer. Here it is with 2 layers applied. Builds pretty well. Could be slightly smoother in application. Let's add a little more product to the center for good measure. Next up is the shade called Give It Away, which is also a satin finish shade. This is a nude shade. Pretty good color on that one. Let's go ahead and add a second layer to build it up even more. Again, I'm going to add a little bit to the center there. So these shades have a I guess like a slight sheen to them, but not really a shimmer necessarily. Next is Make You Mine, another satin finish shade. This is a peach color. Again, sheer on the first layer, but definitely, you know, present pigmentation there. Here is layer number 2. Adding more just to the center there. Next is Come Hither, another satin finish shade. This is a watermelon color. Let's build up on a second layer. These shades are similar, but this one is definitely more pink. And the shade we just swatched before is more peach. And last is New Fling, another satin finish shade, the fuchsia color. And another layer on this one also. Okay, so over applied foundation on my arm as a base and with a powder brush, here are the 6 shades, each of them with 2 layers applied. And I think it's true these are on the sheer side, but they do still have good pigmentation. And if you want a stronger opacity, then you will need to probably layer a little bit. Although on the cheeks, it's usually a little bit different, and you're applying, you know, not exactly the way you might apply with a swatch. I think this gives you a good idea. All right, let's look at some finger swatches. Here is Tell All. So beautiful. You see a little more, I guess, quote unquote pink in there. I would call it more champagne-y peach. Now or Never, satin terracotta. Beautiful sheen on that too. Give It Away is a satin, kind of deeper nude. Again, beautiful satin sheen on there. Then we have Make You Mine, which is a satin peach. Come Hither, satin watermelon. And New Fling, satin fuchsia. All of these have a really, really beautiful subtle sheen to their surface. I think it's a nice array of colors too, and that highlighter that you could pair with any of these shades. And just for fun, let's swatch the highlighter with a dampened brush. Wow, that actually comes out really nicely. And obviously I'm doing this after I did the lip swatches because I thought, wait a second, they said you could use these with a wet brush, so let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Wow, that's actually really beautiful. But I am not going to do these for the blush shades. That it is not the kind of formula, and it's gonna ruin the pan if I do it with a wet brush. So what I did is I picked up the product on the brush and then I spritzed the brush before applying it. Don't re-dip your damp brush into these pans. They are the kinds of pans that will get ruined if you do that. All right, so there's beautiful highlighting shade with a damp application. Next, let's look at the 3 lip duos that NARS has released. These will retail for $22 each, and they're each going to contain 2 mini-sized lip products. One will be the cult favorite Velvet Matte Lip Pencil, and then there will also be a glossy lip tint. Again, all of these are limited edition, and each of these retails for $22. So we'll start with lightest to brightest. This is the Intriguing Lip Duo, and that's what the shades look like in the tubes or pencils. This is the Sex Machine Lip Duo. And here we have the Dragon Girl Lip Duo. It looks like these are shades that already exist, but now you're able to get a pair of them together and in a mini size, which I actually kind of like because it takes a long time to use up a full-sized product. So for a pretty affordable price, you're getting 2 products in a size that's more likely something that you'll be able to actually use the full tube of. So for all these, I'll swatch the Velvet Matte Lip Pencil for you, then the gloss, and then I will show you what the gloss looks like on top of the pencil, and we'll do that for each duo, and then I will do the same for lip swatches. So the first shade is Intriguing, which is a rose pink. Here is the gloss next to it. And here is the gloss over the pencil. Probably will be able to see better with lip swatches, but for now, here's the color. Sex Machine is a pink mauve. Looks like with silver shimmer in there. Here is the gloss version. Now you can probably tell that you can make these pretty sheer, or you can try to build them up somewhat. Here's the gloss over the lip pencil. And then we have Dragon Girl, which is a vivid siren red. This is definitely a pinky red, like a raspberry red. This one goes on pretty opaque with just one layer. Here's what it looks like with both. Okay, there are your 3 lip duos. So let's start on my thoughts with the cheek palette. I really like and enjoy this palette. I was more impressed with it than I thought I would be. The visual of the powders, and at first when you're using a brush to swatch it, it feels very similar and looks identical to the formula that you have seen in previous cheek palettes by NARS. The one that comes immediately to mind was the Hot Tryst palette that they released with the holiday collection in 2018 last year. So if you're familiar with that texture, it is a powder, but it's almost kind of hollow or airy feeling, and it actually kind of feels dry on the surface, but if you touch it with your finger, the formula in this palette, in the exposed palette, is very soft and silky. And I think these may go on a little bit smoother or more easily than the prior formulation. I'm not super confident on that just because it's been a while since I used the Hot Tryst palette, but in any case, I really enjoy the formula in this exposed palette. As you can see in the video, they do go on with very nice pigmentation, and that highlighter is beautifully subtle, and I'm sure if you use it wet, then you can get a much more intense finish. I would not recommend using the cheek products with a damp brush. You're going to seal the pan, and it's going to make it very, very cumbersome to use in a regular manner. And it's just not going to go on well. It's going to be streaky on the cheeks. When it comes to the lip products, I like that they are offering you these in the minis, like I mentioned before, because it's a more realistic product to have and to actually use up, and at a much more reasonable price point to get those 2 products in a smaller size. I like the colors. I like the range of more nude to kind of a pinky medium toned color to that really bright dragon color. All the formulas feel very comfortable on the lips, and they pair really nicely. All around, I think this is a really, really strong and good collection and release by NARS. One of the rare times where I like pretty much everything that is released in the collection. I really don't think that you are losing or wasting your money with purchasing any of the individual items in this collection. So let me know in the comment section below what you think, if you are going to pick up any of these, and if you will, which shades or products you are going to be buying. Make sure you stay tuned. The next video is going to be comparing Good Molecules to The Ordinary, And I've seen a couple people on YouTube talk about this, and I think there are some really important things for you to know that are not being discussed before you buy either of the brands. I might even throw in some comparisons to Makeup Revolution's skincare line, because they also kind of have a similar release of very affordable skincare. And of course, stay tuned for comparison of the Naked Reloaded palette to the Sultry palette. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video.